Alright, what's going on, guys? Anthony with APC Adventure. We are on top of the city. So you can see our generator down here. We have a big guy today. We have actually a 750 kW. That right there is a little access port for topping off the coolant. So I got to figure out how to get on top of the enclosure. But yeah, enough of this. I thought it would be cool to show you guys the view from up here first. But let's go downstairs. Let's show you this big guy, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, a little different view from down here, right? But we got a power zone. Reason I was showing you the coolant, we got a low coolant level. So, but we got a 750 kW gas engine. So I think it's a Mitsubishi. You can see that. What's cool, it's crazy, I'll show you guys this. If you look at this data tag, this makes 1,000 horsepower at 1,800 RPM. This thing's a monster. But yeah, so it's got coolant issues. If we go to the other side, I can show you. I don't know the exact point of failure, but looks like it's actually leaking from more than one area. I came in here earlier, put my light on. Yeah, so this is all probably coolant, right? I don't know if it's on that hose, but there's another hose. Let me climb in here. I'll show you, I believe this guy. But on the other side, if you follow that up there, you had some drips coming from the line over here. You see how that's filled? So I think this right here is probably the main cause of the leak. So we're doing a minor service here. So what I'm probably gonna do is grab some tools. I don't have the head mount, but we'll see how much I can film here. I want to, I'll make sure I go over all the lines, all the hoses, make sure everything's tight before we add, because in order to add coolant, we actually have to be on top of the enclosure. So I want to make sure that the system's sealed first, make sure we don't have any additional leaks, and then we'll go from there. So they also have a built-in load bank, which is pretty sweet. I don't remember how big it is, but I'll open it up and I'll show you guys real quick. There's lots of ice here. Well, let's see. Okay, 1, 2. So it's a 250 kW on the load bank here, so that's enough. So we could probably load this up a little bit while we're checking everything over later. But I'll definitely make sure I show that if I can't show anything else. But yeah, we've already went through this before, right? This is not actually accurate. So we actually have like 11 or 12 inches, not 21. But no worries. I'm gonna leave this like that for now. They do have an annunciator downstairs. I already disconnected that so that it doesn't start beeping away in the lobby. So I'll show you that, where that gets connected in here. See, we're on off. Open this up. So down here you got your 485, positive and minus down there, your shield, and then you have your ground and your power from up there. I don't even know if you can see that properly, but you guys get the idea. It's connected in there. We have the fire alarm panel disconnected, or not disconnected, it's offline. Whenever we get any alarms, I always tell them to make sure we're offline. So let me grab some tools. I'll get to some maintenance. We're basically just going to make sure all the clamps for the cooling system are tight, make sure all the intercooler piping and all that stuff's tight, and then yeah, we'll see what we got. This thing's a monster. I believe you have a starter on each end. You have a massive starter over here, and then I believe you have a massive starter on this side too. Yeah, it takes a lot to fire this thing up. So, but hopefully, a lot of ice. But all right, I'm gonna get to work, and I'll put the camera up a little later. All right, guys. I gotta show you first how we got up there, but you can see here the alarm's cleared, so there's no longer a coolant alarm. But it basically, I brought up 6 gallons here, and then I'll show you. Actually, it's easier to go on this side, I think. Not the best way to get on top of the enclosure, and I'm not going to do that on camera for obvious reasons, because might get yelled at for doing that. But you could use your imagination as to how I'm getting up there. So yeah, not my favorite thing, but we're getting it done. I'm not going to leave it here on low coolant just because it's icy and whatever. But I looked over here, right? So you would think this would be a coolant manifold, but it's actually not. I believe that's like a pressure tube, because it goes to the intercooler piping down here, and then you can see your, I don't know if that's a throttle body or, it's one of the new parts at Generac. We saw that in school, and it's a new electronically controlled throttle body, and you can see a little pressure sensor down there for your intake. But up there are your coolant lines. I showed you more in the valley on the other side. Everything was loose. The upper hoses were loose. On the other side, lower hoses were loose. In the valley, I think there's like a swirl pod up there. All those hoses were loose. Tightened up all that. And then you can see there's a little bit of light coming through up there because I got the cover off. It's the same cover I showed you guys earlier. So I got 6 gallons in there. I probably said that already, but what I'm gonna do is go back to the van, get some more, probably put another 3 or 4 gallons in, and we'll go from there. It seems like the guys haven't touched it since the last time I was here over a year ago. So he was asking me a bunch of questions onto what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and how they should maintain it or whatever. But I basically told them, you know, it runs on a weekly exercise. So if you come up here, I don't know, every couple weeks or maybe every month or so, just, you know, peek in there and, you know, make sure nothing's leaking. Or I mean, if he opened it up on the other side, I don't know how long it was doing that for, but you saw it was in the valley up there, so it might have been leaking for a bit. But he might have been able to save some of the leaks and call us a little sooner. But you know, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. We're getting it done. And yeah, once I put some more coolant in there, I'll make sure that's all topped off. And then I looked up the capacity. Pretty sure capacity on this giant radiator back there is like 50 gallons. So if you had something down here with your lower hose that leaked, yeah, you'd have a terrible time. So let's just hope that never happens in the future of this generator. So I'm gonna go back to the van. I'm gonna bring this downstairs, and I'll pick you guys up in a little bit. All right. So I put in about 10 gallons. I think we should be all right. You're right at the full top of that tank. What's funny is that actually isn't part of the radiator. That's just your overflow or your expansion tank. Because you can see, oh, you can't even see it from here. If I go up here, can you see it? I think you can see that. There's that round tank up there. Yeah, that's actually what holds over 10 gallons or so. Or actually, it might not hold 10 gallons, and some of it went into the radiator, some of it went into that tank. Well, she's full now. But you see we're clear here. Let's go to the home page. Got 26.7 volts. We're at 111 degrees, which is good. Let's throw her in manual and listen to her start up. It's a big boy here. Smoky. Oh yeah. It hasn't been started in a while. And I might go up top, let it warm up. And, maybe we'll throw some load on her from that load bank, see how she acts. Hopefully you guys can hear me, because I know it gets a little loud. And I actually saw another leak. Saw one over here. Figured I'd let her run for a little bit. We'll find something, right? What else do we find? Is it coming from that guy? You gotta go to the highest point, right? Alright, so yeah guys, looks like it's coming from that coolant manifold up there, because you gotta follow it to the highest point. From the highest point you can see all the smoke and stuff coming from up here. Especially on the cylinder 2 head over there. I don't know if you can see. Try to move out of the way. Try to get you guys in there somehow. But yeah, you see that guy? That guy's the one that's leaking the most. So, look at the rest of them. They don't look that bad. Alright. What's interesting now is to replace that, we're gonna have to drain a bunch of the cooling system. So we'll see how that gets quoted out. But unfortunately, that kind of means we're done here. I wanted to really run it on the load bank. Let me turn my light off. But doesn't seem like we could. If it's just gonna piss out all the coolant up there, yeah, I think we're gonna have to leave this as a red unit down. So what we'll probably do is let the guys know downstairs. I might leave the annunciator connected and just let them know that we're down, and then yeah, we're gonna have to go from there. Nothing more we could do about that. You know what? Just for shits and giggles. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth doing both sides, but you know they say don't touch what's not broken, right? So this side's fine. This side doesn't seem to be leaking at all. I mean, there's a little bit of a spot there, possibly, but I don't think. Yeah, no. And I tried tightening those bolts too to see if it was something like that, but nah, those bolts are real tight, so there's not much you could do. I do notice that when we do that, you see that bolt back there? I'll probably bring my swivel sockets, because it'll be way easier to get to them with swivels than the than either a socket or a wrench. So what's going on with that? That's interesting. Huh. All right. Well, yeah. I guess that's all she wrote, kinda. I'll probably just clean up some stuff. I still got some coolant I gotta bring down, and I'll make sure I let the guy know that. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be up and running anytime soon. We're gonna have to come back with a lot more coolant. I don't know how much is gonna have to be drained, but it's definitely a two-person job to get up there and do all that work. So I guess that's it for now. But hopefully you guys like this, because it's this is the biggest gasser I've ever worked on. The 1 meg that we have somewhere in Manhattan is it's a diesel. I think it's like a 31.8 or 30. I forget how big it is, but it's essentially, this is a Mitsubishi 33.9 liter. And I believe the other one is a very similar setup, besides it being diesel, not gas. So, but yeah, I'll pick you guys up once we're in the van. We'll do some paperwork, and we'll have a nice drive home. Alright guys, so we called Generac to see if that repair would be warranty, because their build date was 2020, and I believe it wasn't started up until sometime in 2021. So I think Generac usually has 2 or 4 year warranties, so there was a chance that it could have been warranty. But I was on the phone with them for over an hour. They were trying to figure stuff out, but looks like it's not a warranty job, so we're still going to have to send a proposal. So we'll send that through. We'll see how they reply to that, because I'm sure that's not going to be an easy repair. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So until next time, I will enjoy this drive home. Hopefully traffic's not that bad. And you know, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. I love reading your guys' comments. It's pretty cool to see. So you guys always have like suggestions or things that, like, it seems like a lot of you guys are like you've been working on generators for a lot longer than I have, so it's cool to see you guys' opinions, and a lot of you guys work on more industrial stuff than I do, so it's cool to listen. So I'm always reading those comments, so keep it coming. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one.